in his Volkswagen Eurovan, traveling in one area in his life where he trusts his inner voice and magical moments abound around him. He usually picks up the camera only when he's inspired by a scene leaping at him, a shot beckoning to be taken. Unlike in any other part of his life, he never lets the worry of money get in his way to go on a trip. And interestingly, the needed resources always show up at the end. He feels truly blessed about that and hopes to extend this sense of being supported by the universe into all areas of his life. Please join him on his epic 3-week trip to Alaska this August, presenting Alaska Magic, a travelogue. Welcome up, Andreas Wienrich.
Thank you. So who of you guys likes road trips? Oh wow, it's pretty much everybody. Well, I love road trips for 3 reasons. Excuse me, I'm a little hoarse tonight. First one is just that expansive experience of myself when I'm on the road and out in nature. Second is, I love the magic that shows up, and I really trust my guts in terms of being at the right time, at the right place. And the third one is, I just love sharing my enthusiasm for nature and the natural world with my kids. So in August we were in Alaska. This is our round trip here. We started out in Bellingham, made it to Denali National Park in the interior, and then went to the coast to Seward on the Gulf of Alaska. Then went over to Wrangell St. Elias National Park along the Nabesna Road. And finally, the last part of the trip was Haines in southeast Alaska. So that's a 5,500 mile trip. So the first magic I experienced, or we experienced, the first night I was in Prince George, and what appeared as kind of a faint glow on the horizon ended up being the Aurora Borealis. My camera picked that up much better than my eye. So the picture of my daughter, she got her first couple of 100 miles of driving experience on this trip. And what I love about it is that I got some relief. She loves driving in the evening, she's more alert. And I love driving during the day when I'm much more alert. So it was a wonderful tag team that made the whole experience so much more enjoyable, especially on a long trip like that. My son really enjoyed the back seat where I could just lie down and listen to music. This is a dashboard still life. We love having little souvenirs, rocks we pick, or pieces of driftwood. We all kind of stash that on the dash. That's a shot out of the window of the van in British Columbia. It reminds me of a Monet painting. And the lovely thing is that just by driving, the bottom here is kind of blurred. That makes it a little bit more like an impressionistic painting. This is in the Yukon Territory, Braided River. They're all over Alaska. And in the background you can see the St. Elias Mountains, which are almost as high as Denali, about 20,000 feet. This is Denali National Park, a little placid pond with a beaver who was making his nest or his dam. A little further into the road, we experienced like a magnificent rainbow at a rest stop. It's kind of an evening light. And I love the play of clouds and light and landscape that you can see here in this picture. And is there anybody who can see the moose that's hiding? It's right here. Well, this is a little bit close up. There's a female moose right here on the bottom of the picture. And she's a real beauty. This is a close-up. I love those eyelashes. It's a caribou. It's kind of like Rudolph the reindeer. And there's so much wildlife in Denali. That was like the highest concentration of wildlife we saw in our whole trip. I love this picture of a trail that we took. It's kind of really windy and rocky, and kind of for me like reminds me of life. You know, it's kind of sometimes windy, sometimes rocky. But if we dare to look up, there's so much beauty and magic around us. my son on this trail, wind-blown hair, and right behind him, that's what you can see, just an amazing landscape. And we took the park shuttle bus into the park, so it was safe, and we saw that bear, who was actually raking with his mouth through the blueberries, just kind of gathering blueberries. So another close-up of him, or her, who knows. Another large animal, another moose. So beautiful to see the velvet still on his antlers. And a mama moose with her baby. Pond. So this is our campsite at the end of the park road in Denali called Wonder Lake. It was just magnificent with, you can see the Alaska Range right here in the background. And the next morning, I woke up around 6 o'clock and I peeked out the tent. And what I saw was this.
Oh.
The sun just started to rise and peak, was rising right over, Denali, just brushed the peaks and then wandered down. And it's just an amazing scenery because the elevation, from the valley basically to the top is 17,000 feet. So it's just absolutely massive. Something that, we're usually not really used from, like the Cascade Range would be kind of somewhere in the foothills right here. So blueberries all over the place. Was just a wonderful experience. We had our full share of blueberries like throughout the whole trip. And this is a food art by my son Noah. He turned an apple into a swan. Magic. From Denali we went to the Gulf of Alaska. This is a fjord filled with glacial silts and sands. And we took a boat trip, and here you can see an otter just resting in the water. Looks almost like he's praying. And it's one of my favorite pictures. It's an orca whale. We were really blessed to have those visitors on the trip. And he's breaching and just has a salmon in his mouth. It's kind of a piece of ice art floating on the water. This is the Holgate Glacier. What I love about the picture is just the dark rock, with the ice. Here's the full glory of the glacier, and a little boat here you can see like just the proportions of it. It's a tidewater glacier that goes right into the fjords. There's another glacier that we saw on the way from Seward to the Wrangell St. Elias National Park. It's called the Manatuska Glacier, and for me that was kind of a symbol of global warming because it kind of looks pretty thin and weak, and I was like, man, all of Alaska's glaciers are kind of vanishing. So that was really kind of visual for me to like, oh wow, this is kind of global warming. Fairyland or Elfinland, the Liberty Falls, the Wrangell St. Elias National Park. Played a little bit with long exposures here. Little creek in the boreal forest along the Nebesna Road, which is in the Wrangell St. Elias National Park. And our first camp spot here was Rock Lake. And it really reminds me of Ayers Rock. That was like at sunset when the whole hill was really doused in like a bright red light. So in the morning it looks more like that. You can see our van, and behind it you see the same rock. Cotton grass. It's all in the boggy areas, all over the place, and really reminds me of the many summer trips to Scandinavia of my childhood, so it has like real emotional value for me. This is sunset at Jack's Creek. I just love kind of the shadow of the clouds, on the hill here. And my son and I that day took an amazing hike up the Skookum volcano, with just like deeply eroded volcanic structure. And you can see that a little bit better. Well, that's my son Noah here, with the Nisotin Mountains in the background. Am I standing in Anchorage? So you can see the path that we took kind of winding up the ridge here. And you can see the light-colored volcanic rocks that are cut through by like really dark dikes that are sticking out, kind of harder rocks. You can see that here too, like really dark kind of basaltic dikes cutting through the volcanic structure. And then here you can see the Nobesna Road that gave us a feeling of like, man, we came pretty far. It's about 2,600 feet of elevation gain. And bumped into some tall sheep. They were somewhat close. I mean, it's still a teleshot, but it was as close as we got. Made it back to Rock Lake. This is a full moon shot at night. And it was about mid-August, but it was already starting to turn fall. So we could see in the length of our trip, you know, that how the leaves started turning, and it felt more like fall is coming. This is a roadside shot, kind of like that feeling of God is speaking. I love that. Again, fall colors on the Alaska Highway that was on the way back to Bellingham. Well, we stopped over in Haines, Alaska. It's a really pretty little town surrounded by great mountains. The main reason was seeing bears actually feeding on fish. So is a mother bear in the water here with her cubs at a fish weir where they count salmon. But it's really easy for them to get the fish there. You can see that she caught a salmon here. This is the last shot of my show. It's my son Noah walking into the wilderness. And just wanted to show you my appreciation for nature and just the highlights of this trip and how much I loved it. And thanks so much, Mr. Toastmaster.
60 seconds on the clock. Hurry up.